Hey everybody, it's me, Lance Meister, the Undead Viking. I'm here to review a game for you. The game in question is called Lost Woods. Lost Woods is a fantasy-based tile-laying game in which each person will be playing an adventure that needs to escape the Lost Woods. Along the way, you'll be collecting magic spells, different weapons that you can use to fight those creatures, and also collecting gold when you kill things. And gold is actually how you win the game. Once somebody finally escapes after you've created the entire map of the Lost Woods with the tiles that you put down, then at that point, whoever escapes triggers the end of the game, and whoever has the most gold then wins the game at that point. This isn't a game where you can fight each other. You're always just fighting the monsters. You can steal gold and stuff from each other and mess with people a little bit in that way. But for the most part, it's just you're in it to win it for yourself, pretty much. So let me show you exactly how this game is played. It's pretty simple. It's actually a game that my daughter is enjoying a lot lately. Unfortunately, she's asleep right now, so she was unable to join me for this video. But I'll show you the game, and then we'll come back here, and I'll talk a little bit more about Lost Woods. Alright, cool. Alright, this is Lost Woods. I'm going to show you how to play. I'm just going to show you quickly these different components that you see in front of you. And of course remind you that I'm playing with a prototype, so what you see here may or may not be indicative of what the final published version of the game will look like. So, you have the starting board here that you place, and all the players, this plays 2 to 6 people. I just set up all 6 pawns here in the middle. They start in this campground right in the middle of the Lost Woods. We don't know why the adventurers got stuck in the Lost Woods, but they are smack dab in the middle of this forest full of all kinds of nasty things that want to get them, and they need to escape the forest. This is not a cooperative game. You're not working with each other. The first person to escape after you put all the tiles down will trigger the end of the game, and whoever collects the most gold when they play the game will be the winner at that time. When you start off with, here, I'll just take these off really quick. Each character, just a little character sheet here is like, this character is obviously like some sort of monk type person who's wielding a jawbone, if you will, red warrior, maybe a female, I don't know, lamp carrier. This guy looks kind of like a mage. But regardless of what the actual character looks like, they're all structurally exactly the same. They all have 2 spots for spells, and they have 3 spots for items. So we have this red warrior type dude, and we'll just, if that's you get 1 gold to start with, so put the gold there, and then you get a weapon that is a D6 weapon, meaning when you use it, it's going to be worth doing a D6, and I just dropped that on the floor, so let me pick that up again. So there you go, it is a D6 kitchen knife. Reasonably sharp kitchen knife at that. Now, this game does have a little bit of a sense of humor, and you'll see that in some of the other tiles as we draw them. So, it should be noted that if you ever gain more than the 2 spells that are here, you then have to discard 1, or you pick which one you want to use, then discard 1, then keep the other. Same thing goes with items. You can only have up to 3 weapons, or potions, if you will, that you can grab as well. And you notice there's a spot there for a weapon and a potion. So I'm just going to move this down just a little bit. Now, you determine the player, just however you want to figure it out, rock, paper, scissors, roll the dice, what have you. And on your turn, you can move 0, 1, 2, or 3 spaces. But as soon as you exit out of an explored area and go into an unexplored area, you stop and you draw a tile. So like if you were this particular character, this red warrior, if you will, and he went 1, 2, he would stop. And you can see there's the northwest, south, and north, south, east over here. And astute viewers will probably notice that there's these tiles over here with those directions on here. And if you think that yes, then you would draw this case, you draw that tile for the west, you'd be absolutely correct. And then you show it. And in this case, and this is kind of neat, this is a magic well, if you will. And so this is a magic spell. And so what happens there is obviously this closes off the area. And in this case, we're going to go through and we're going to find the magic spell that he gets for being in that spot. So just 1 second here. There we go. So the spell is transmute. And it says here, instead of exploring, you can switch any two weapons. So you can change any two weapons that currently can be seen. And so that you can get rid of, obviously there's no other weapons right now, so you can't do that. But when you're in the magic well, you then take it and you put it there. Now, this is kind of fortuitous because I can kind of teach you how spells work at this point. When you use a spell, they are a one-shot weapon. So when you use them, they go back to the well. So say like there's more over here and he's over here and he sees a weapon that he sees somebody's got a nice weapon and they want to transmute that into the other weapon. He casts the spell, he takes the nice weapon, but then the spell goes back there, and so then on green's turn they can go over there and grab that. So it's kind of a way that you can make sure that people just don't hold on to the good stuff, if you will. It's an opportune thing, but then when you use it, you have to be obviously cognizant of the fact that somebody else might then go ahead and get it as well. And some of the other spells, pretty simple that you'll find. Tornado, the D20 means it's an attack spell. You roll a D20, a lightning bolt, a meteor. The magnet, as you can probably see, instead of exploring, you just take an item off the map. A fireball, a teleport, on your move step, you go to any space on the board if you want, and revive. Normally when you lose a battle, you are sent back to the camp, but with the revive spell, you can just you stay where you are, and that doesn't happen. So, as you can tell, the game runs pretty easily, and so in that case, we didn't explore. So if it was green's turn and they go there, we're going to draw one, and wow, as luck would have it, I drew another spell. And so, in this case, we would go through and find the lightning bolt, and we put that in there, but obviously the green character would take that. Let's just actually find the green player, so they would take the lightning bolt there. But of course I'm not really playing the green character. I kind of wanted to actually get a thing that I could show you. So, okay, let's say blue goes next. And so they go to the north. Well, we got to finally get something here. Oh, okay, so here we go. So we have a spot that has west, east, and south. And so we obviously connect those two. Oh, I should probably move the red pawn back over there, huh? And so we connect those two like that. And you go ahead and put the blue pawn in there. And then now you go into the bag, and what you're going to do is you're going to draw a tile out of here randomly, and you're going to see what happens when blue gets that location. So the tile that we drew is, looks like it is some sort of evil little centaur with a club. Notice they have a D8 for their attack, but if you kill it, you get 2 pieces of gold. Remember, the gold is what wins the game. So blue is going to decide they're going to fight, so they pick one other person, just pick the person to their left is going to roll the 8 sided, or they can roll them both at the same time. We always have somebody else roll it, so it sounds like they're fighting them. But we're going to go ahead and roll these two, see what we get here. So in this case, we got a 2 and a 7. So blue would lose and would be knocked back to here. Now, you can't fight if you don't have a weapon. So in this case, like if ever since everybody starts with an easy weapon, a D6 weapon, in this situation, whatever weapon they used in that particular fight would then be dropped into that location on where they fought the centaur. So in this case, if blue had a pointy stick, they would go ahead and put that down there, and then their weapon would be there. Now, blue's got to make sure they find another weapon before they can fight. Or maybe they can get a spell that will cast it. So, let's say, since we know green had the lightning bolt, like, they could go there in this situation. And there's the centaur with a D8, and they're going to use their lightning bolt to fight it. So, we have a D20 and a D8. We'd roll, in this case, a 3 to a 14. We also knock down blue to add to the ignominy of this situation. So you would kill that. Green would get 2 gold for killing the centaur. And also, if they wanted to, they could pick up the pointy stick and put it on their character sheet, like so. And that's pretty much how the game works. As you explore, so let's say, purple goes over here, and now they're going to pick a west, and they would go like this, and so they'd also draw a tile, and that actually works out pretty well, actually. If you do end up in a situation where you're blocked or anything like that, that just means it's blocked. So, it isn't a situation where if you draw the tile, and like it ends up having a blocked spots or whatever, it just means it's a dead end. But in this case, purple drew a sparkler weapon. and so purple would probably pick up that weapon unless they had something better. As I said, the game has a little bit of a sense of humor. Now, eventually what will happen is that somebody will go ahead and they will reach... You'll go through all of these particular things, and you notice that there is, on the bottom of each one of these decks, on these tiles, you have this thing that says the bottom of the deck. You put this in the bottom of the deck. And the reason for that is because you put the Guardian of the North in this situation. So this wouldn't be the end of these tiles, but we're just going to go ahead and pretend. And so the Guardian of the North, and for that matter, all of the Guardians, have a D4, a D6, and a D8. And you notice they're worth 4 gold if you defeat them. Now, what that means is that you'll notice that the Guardian of the West is a very tough squirrel. But the Guardian of the, so you place that in that location, and if somebody decides they're going to fight the Guardian of the North, they have to fight it and defeat them 3 times. Once in a D4, once in a D6, and once in a D8. And if they win all 3 times, then they will defeat that Guardian. Now, that doesn't mean they get to escape. Remember, you have to have put all the tiles down before somebody can actually then walk off the map. But, you know, so just because you defeat the Guardian doesn't mean the game is over, so to speak. It could be, you know, if all the tiles are down at that point. But more or less likely, you're attacking them because they got 4 gold. And, of course, whoever has the most gold will win the game. Now, there's one other thing, just quickly, if you do place all the tiles down and somehow there is no escape path, like there's no way to actually get out of the forest, or the woods, if you will, then the game just ends immediately at that point. Remember, whoever has the most gold, then, in that case as well, still wins the game. Now, there's lots of other different tiles here, and I'm just going to pour some out so you can kind of see some of the other ones here, just so you can see. If you get a... take +2 tiles. You just, when you draw this, you just discard that and you draw 2 more tiles out of the bag. If you draw a gnome, whoever has the most gold loses a gold, and then that goes to the person that has the least gold. If there's people tied for the least or tied for the most, the person that draws the tile gets to pick who that is. I mentioned there's potions. Here is a potion. Potions are one-shot items that let you re-roll a die. You can re-roll either the die that you were fighting or the die that you rolled to fight. So, like, let's say this you have a D8 to this D12. We'll roll and see here. So, well, in this case, I would have won. But let's say, like, you were the D12 against this. So you'd spend the potion to re-roll the D12, hoping to get higher than a 7. And still fail. But that's how a potion works. Pretty straightforward as far as that goes. You know, some of the, like I said, some of these things are, you know, pretty standard. You know, Skeleton Archer, D6. And some things get really tough. You know, like this like kind of weird ogre hill giant type thing with the D12. But as I said, this game does have a sense of humor, and you'll notice that there is this rabid squirrel that has a D4. But for some reason also has a gold piece hidden on their person or in their tree, if you will. But there are, like I said, lots of different tiles in here. There's more than enough to play the game. And then the one last thing, oh look, a broom, or an elephant gun. And it's actually an elephant shooting. But one thing is that, like, if you get this one last thing, if you take 1 gold, it's pretty simple. You just take a gold from the bank, if you will. So there you go. That's how you play Lost Woods. It doesn't take a lot to learn, but and the turns don't take a long time. But there's a lot. It's a lot of fun, and I've really had a lot of fun with it with my family. But let me talk more about it in my conclusion, which I'll do right now. Lost Woods reminds me of a lot of games. And that's not like a bad nor good thing. It's actually a pretty good thing. Obviously, it's more in the simpler genre. I mean, but it reminded me, because of the whole draw the bag thing, and there's been a lot of games with, like, it's kind of like the whole drawn junk out of the bag is kind of making a comeback, which I appreciate. I've always liked games with bag draws in them. It reminded me a little bit of the old Kings and Things game, and also it reminded me a little bit of Feudality. There's a lot of Tom Wham feel that I got out of this game, which is never a bad thing. I'm a big fan of that guy. Also, what I mentioned that my daughter was enjoying the game. one of the things that I really enjoyed was that it was a very kind of simplified exploration game. And my daughter and I have played many, many, many games of the Kids of Carcassonne when she was younger. And so tile laying kind of fell into line really easily for her. And one of her favorite games to play when we're not playing Dungeons and Dragons is to play actually Dungeon, which is a game of exploration and collecting gold and what have you. And so she enjoys the whole process of rolling the dice and fighting. And for that matter, it isn't just a kid's game. This is a game very, it is on the lighter spectrum, but I've played it a lot with my game group as well. And we enjoyed the fact that it is very quick, it is very fast, and we've actually enjoyed drawing the gnome more than anything because of the whole process of stealing things from other people. I mean, there's something to be said for also, like, just kind of following behind people, letting them trailblaze a little bit, and then, like, swooping in after the fact, after they, like, they lose the battle against whatever creature, then coming in and taking that and things like that. And it is a very luck-based game, obviously. If you don't draw, well, look there. I guess I had to draw to take a goal. But if like you start drawing things, like big bad monsters here. Of course, I can't find any right now. But if you start drawing big bad monsters and you just don't have a good weapon to defeat them, that can kind of stink and what have you. And if you kind of go through the game waiting to find a good weapon, that that can be also tough. But I think the trick in the game is that you kind of need. The spells are actually a really big help, obviously, because of the fact that they are that big. D20 or whatever. But let it be said that there's nothing more satisfying for me to see one of my friends fight it like a D6 monster with their D20 and lose, which has happened several occasions. But what I enjoyed a lot about the game was that it kind of condensed the whole, basically, fantasy role-playing game attitude, and condensed it into a game that plays in about a half an hour and is still challenging, still tells kind of a story. This is one of those games where it's like, really? I lost to a squirrel? I lost to a freaking squirrel? Things like that, where you can laugh about it and have a good a joke or two. And the thing is that you can really kind of get screwed with the maze of the different passages, and you can then really mess with people as well. Like when you take certain tiles and place them down. You can put them in certain variations and distinctions or whatever. I, for one, find it pretty funny when somebody goes off all the way, a big long trek down a row, and then they hit a dead end because of, they draw, a tile they get to the end and they draw, they draw the magic well, which gives them a spell, woohoo, but now they have to walk all the way back. And to before they can do anything, and I find that to be amusing. So all in all, the game was a hoot to play. We have had a ton of fun. If you have a gaming group that can kind of play a laid back fantasy themed game, definitely can be interested. What I personally feel the target audience for this is a younger crowd, is a family-based game. And I don't think there's enough really good family-based fantasy, like Dungeons & Dragons type theme games. And since when I showed this to my daughter, she absolutely fell in love with it. And like I said, we've been playing a ton of it. So there you go. That is Lost Woods. If you have any questions about it, please ask away, and I'll be more than happy to help you with that. As always, I greatly appreciate you taking the time to watch this video, and until next time, you have yourself one heck of an awesome day. Alright, bye-bye.